This is not trending in the AM. It's Dateline, because we are going to have an investigative journalistic episode here today, because we've got to dive into the mystery of the Philadelphia Eagles and what they are hiding from Jalen Hurts because of Jalen Hurts. Trending in the AM meets Dateline in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure you do me that favor. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. The two most important things you can do every single morning here to support this show is hit the like and the subscribe button. Click share. Tell a friend. Tell one. The number one morning show in Philadelphia is Trending in the AM, the only show in Philadelphia where your opinions actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. And guys, this is not the typical Trending in the AM today. Trending in the AM is turning into Dateline TV because we've got to put our investigative journalism hats on to find out what the Philadelphia Eagles are hiding. They are doing something illegal, and we need to investigate. We got to call our sources. We got to call the snitches out on the street. We got to find Bubbles. We got to ask Bubbles what the Eagles are hiding. Because clearly the Philadelphia Eagles are hiding something, because the fact that they don't let Jalen Hurts throw the ball more than 19 times in a game. For those that don't know what I am talking about, Emmanuel Acho, FS1, former football player, former everything, made a statement on his show yesterday on FS1 that the Eagles are clearly hiding something about Jalen Hurts because they only let him throw the football 19 times on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. And my response to Emmanuel is, did you hit your head one too many times? Did you not realize CTE is a real thing? Just because the Eagles are running the football, obviously they're hiding something from Jalen Hurts. Has nothing to do with the fact that the Eagles are the greatest, on pace to be the greatest running team of all time this year. Has nothing to do with the fact that they have the great offensive line run blocking. Has nothing to do with the fact that they've won 8 games in a row, are 10-2, on the precipice of a deep playoff run. None of that matters because Jalen Hurts only threw the football 19 times on Sunday. What is wrong with you, Acho? He would never even catch wind of this, but he's welcome to come on this show and answer those questions. I want to know what's wrong with you for thinking that because we threw the football only 19 times, but beat a team that everybody else thinks is going to go to the Super Bowl, that we're hiding something, that we're doing something wrong by having an identity and leaning into the identity. It just breaks the heart. And we'll get to the comments in a second. I'm on a roll right now. It breaks the heart of people like Acho, Chase Daniels, who was criticizing Jalen Hurts the other day. It breaks the heart of the national media to see the Eagles succeed. It breaks their heart that they might be wrong. How many times have I sat here on this show over the last 3+ years and said, oops, my bad. Bad take on my part. I was wrong. Is it really that hard for these people to just sit down and be like, you know what? Jalen Hurts is actually pretty good at playing football, which is actually pretty true. Jalen Hurts is very good at playing football. Is he Patrick Mahomes? No. Is he as physically gifted as Josh Allen? No. But all the dude does is win. 44-19 in the last 3+ years. Over the last 3 years, he's got a 795 winning percentage. But that's 35-9. Why can't these media people just accept the fact that they were wrong? Is it that hard to do? Just accept it. All right, let's get to some of these comments here. Good morning, Duck. How are you? Hope you are well today, and thank you for all your support always. Yes, Hurts is hiding something. Smart football. They've decided on a running team identity and have succeeded with it. We all talked all offseason, or all early in the season. What's the identity? They got an identity. They lean into it. And guess what? It's still not good enough for some people. We are hiding old school running football. We're not hiding it. We're doing it every single week. I mean, go up against the Ravens, had a great rush defense. We still did stuck to our identity. That's okay. And that's the problem with people. I'm on an Eagles rant here. I may have chatter bringing up the Lions injuries. Are they substantial? Well, if you lose 75 people, yes, it gets pretty substantial. Anthony, good morning to you. Barely a football player. Acho was a nobody as a player. Look, Emmanuel Acho, he's a typical media guy, former player, got a big, bold personality, has done some great philanthropic work. He's done a lot of good things, but his football takes are as bad as his football career because he can't admit that he was wrong. If you've seen the clip of Acho, you even see, because LaShawn McCoy is one of the guys on his show, or on the show with him. I don't know if it's his show, the show with him. And you see LaShawn McCoy lean forward on the table and just chuckle. Not because he's a former Eagle, because LaShawn McCoy knows the Eagles aren't hiding anything. You could, if Emmanuel Acho wanted to be taken seriously on his opinion, all he had to do was phrase the words differently, Anthony. All he had to do was, the Eagles have created a run-first identity because they don't trust Jalen Hurts. That's all he had to say. Now, I disagree with that philosophy too, but I wouldn't be centering the kickoff of today's show directly around it because of that statement. I probably wouldn't even have heard of it. So I pay so little attention to these things. He chose his words carefully because he wants to prove a point that he doesn't think Jalen Hurts is good. But hiding something. So stupid. Old school fullback football starting an extra cushion for Barkley could be dangerous. They have hired a fullback now officially. And yes, good morning to you, Anthony. I hope you are well this morning. Huge game tonight. Lions-Packers tonight. It is a pretty good game. Big game. It's probably this, normally Thursday night football, TMC, most years, most Thursday night football games are horrendous matchups week in and week out. Week in and week out, we've had some bangers of football games on Thursday night football, and this week's no different. The Packers want a chance at their division. They got to win. If the Eagles want a chance at the first-round bye, we need the Packers to win. Lions are only thing in the way of the Eagles' Super Bowl, but the Lions are beat up, and you'll see that tonight. Acho needed a take that no one has to get the eyeballs. Eagles are hot right now, so he's using it to get some above the fold headlines. See, the thing is, you don't have to do that, Duck. You don't have to make crazy comments to get the headline. You know what would be a crazy headline that would put you everywhere? If you were a major media member and you actually stood up for Jalen Hurts. Said something good about Jalen Hurts. Because you'd be the first person in the media to do it. Stand up. Be me. I admit I was wrong. I didn't want to take Juan Barkley here. I've admitted I was wrong. I didn't want to move on from Joel Embiid. I admit I was wrong. I loved Ben Simmons. I admitted I was wrong. Be the first major media member to stand up and be like, world, I was wrong. Jalen Hurts is legit. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. Be that guy. Stand up. Shout it from the rooftops. You'll still get lots of clicks because just saying Jalen Hurts is great will get all the haters to come at you. I don't understand what people want. Do they rather? I mean, I don't remember the exact number. What did Jameis Winston throw this weekend for the Browns? Almost 500 yards passing But guess what? They lost. But that's a flashy stat, almost 500 yards. You know what I really, truly feel that Jalen Hurts is suffering the most from? We live in a world dominated by fantasy football and gambling. And he is not a fantasy football gambling darling. Well, he should be a gambling darling because Jalen Hurts' anytime touchdown is easy money every single week. Because of the fantasy football world, he doesn't put up the flashy stats. If you look at most people's quarterback rankings when they rank their favorite or who they think are the best quarterbacks, more often than not, fantasy stats are their determination, not wins and losses. When in reality, all that matters is wins and losses. Just hear me out, and we'll get back to the comments again in a second here. Say the Eagles go on a run. This is just hypothetical. They get to the Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts throws for 197 yards. Saquon Barkley gets the Super Bowl MVP. And we're celebrating down Broad Street. I guarantee within a week, there'll be multiple national media members lumping Jalen Hurts, a winning Super Bowl quarterback, in the same breath as Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnsons of the world. They'll put him below Eli Manning in the pantheon of worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. Because they just can't admit that all he cares about is winning. And that's what he does. He doesn't do it flashy. He doesn't give you these hot. They'd rather talk about Aaron Rodgers and his documentaries and his little ventures into the wilderness. They'd rather talk about Patrick Mahomes because of the whirlwind around him. They don't like quiet players. The Bucs seem to have our number, so on paper, no, but in reality, yes, Bucs are a blocker. That should be the last Thursday night football this season. The Eagles were the previous best Thursday night football. Oh, the best, yes, absolutely. It's gonna be a hot game tonight. It is, and I don't normally watch Thursday night football, but I'll put it on for a while tonight for sure. Huge game tonight. Flyers, Panthers. Flyers are 8-2-2 in their last 12. They are 7-0 in the last 7 games that Andre has played. See, I like that. We're talking Thursday night football, and Anthony's jumping right into the Flyers hockey, the second most important team in Philadelphia at this moment. Sports media needs the negative headline for the anger responses by fans. The thing is, I can garner angry responses with positive comments. And I do that all the time on social media, Duck. Just saying Jalen Hurts is great garners an angry response. And that's all you got to do. You know what? Let the anger flow. As long as you look at things positively, that's all that matters. 2,000 yards, 50 interceptions. What's that? Who's got that? Bucks blow. They got you sleeping early in the season. Absolutely. You were never against Barkley move. Nice threads, by the way. I was not against the signing of Barkley. I said, all things considered, money involved, age, the offensive line, how anybody can run behind it. I didn't think it was a good investment of our resources because we needed a linebacker. I thought we needed safety. I thought we needed a lot of help places. And dropping $30, $40 million on a running back, to me, didn't seem frugal. But I never doubted Saquon Barkley's talent. The problem is Hurts has fallen off the fantasy football boards because his passing numbers per game have dropped and his passing touchdowns per. I don't know where he ranks in the quarterback rankings this year, but I bet you it's still in the top 5, Duck, because he still has a crap ton of touchdowns and rushing yards and whatnot. Yeah, he doesn't put up big, flashy fantasy passing numbers, but he still has the rushing touchdowns to go. Phil, WIP would be saying that from the parade. Yeah, probably. No, we won the Super Bowl, the second in the history of our franchise. But it wasn't because of Jalen Hurts. You know, it would really piss people off. Anthony, Duck, everybody else that's watching. And guys, there's a lot more people watching than they're actually chatting. So make sure you drop your comments on this. We're talking Jalen Hurts is actually pretty good at football. They're not hiding anything. What would piss a lot of people off, Anthony, is if this season just continues exactly as it is. Saquon Barkley dominating on the ground, Jalen Hurts being pedestrian, statistically speaking, and we win out. We get to the Super Bowl, and we win. But Jalen Hurts, not Saquon Barkley, gets the Super Bowl MVP because he goes off for 300 yards. A.J. Brown has 2 tutties. Devontae Smith has 150 yards receiving. That would piss so many people off if the opposite of what I originally said happens, that we win a Super Bowl behind Jalen Hurts. Oh, why couldn't he do it all year long? It was a one-game wonder thing. That's what they would say. TMC, you like me said swing for the fence gamble, either hurt. Yeah, I said that too. I did say it's swing for the fence move. It's either going to work out great or it's going to be a big blunder. But the contract was also written up, so if it was a big blunder, they could get out of it pretty quickly. The passing touchdown drop is killing fantasy football managers because they like the double dip of wide receiver and quarterback. Absolutely. See, that's the thing. People hate on Jalen Hurts because he's not a good because of the fantasy aspect of things. They create their fantasy, they create their realistic rankings of teams and players based off fantasy stats. If you want to, there should be 2 lists all the time. Who are your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL? Who are your top 10 fantasy football quarterbacks this week in the NFL? There's 2 different conversations there, but yet the media lumps them together. Because let me tell you something. If I'm going to battle on any given Sunday, there are very few quarterbacks I would take right now in the NFL over Jalen Hurts, knowing I have to win 1 game on Sunday. Because whether he throws the ball 19 times or 25 times or 30 times, I'd rather Jalen Hurts in the trenches with me than almost everybody else in the NFL, outside of Patrick Mahomes. I don't want Joe Burrow right now in the trenches with me. I don't want Josh Allen would be there. I don't want Lamar Jackson over Jalen Hurts at this point. Really, it's Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. They're the only 2 quarterbacks I would take. Not to look good statistically, to win a football game on Sunday. And that's just straight up facts. Positive statements only get half hate. Defenders don't come out on positives, and the negatives come out hard. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. Lucky for Eagles, it was super jackpot. What's up, Rick? How you doing this morning? Falling into their trap by even talking about their clip. No, I'm not falling in the trap. See, the thing is, their clickbait comments help create my content, which is fine by me. I can counter their clickbait with more clickbait. Just so you know, I'll call Acho the doofus dumbass that he is for making dumbass statements, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. Hell, LaShawn McCoy was on the set laughing at him as he was saying it. That's fine. I'll use their content and spin it positively. That's why we do the grind slowly here at the STT Sports Network. Because I ain't making outlandish, dumb statements that are going to get me clickbait heavy here. But I'm going to counter it, and I'm going to say my opinion. So while it's working for them, it's getting them more attention. It's also helping me get attention. Hurts has the best winning percentage in the NFL since the start of 2022 season. Yep, he is. As a starter, he is 35-9. He's got a 79.5% win percentage. But that's not talked about, Anthony. Not at all. Hurts is okay. I would like if he threw more. Why? Why does Jalen Hurts have to throw more? The Eagles are 10-2, have won 8 football games in a row. Why do they have to throw more? Why isn't winning all that matters? Why would we criticize a quarterback because the team has an identity? And they lean into their identity. What's up, Big Al? I will want to win at all costs. I could care less if he throws the ball at all. Just win. Exactly. You know what really changed me? And I'm talking about, I'm blaming fantasy football for the problems with how people judge quarterback play. Last year, and into this year too, I pretty much dropped all fantasy football from my life. I'm in a family league with my little nephew. No money on the line, just family bragging rights. And I do DFS DraftKings stuff, which is a week-to-week basis thing. Once I stopped caring about being in 5 $50 leagues, $100 season-long fantasy football leagues, keeper leagues, and all this stuff, once I stopped caring about that, the way I evaluate football players has changed. I didn't get a good snap there. I can't. My finger's not working. My fingers won't snap. I changed like that. I was able to evaluate talent better. I was able to be more realistic with expectations. Getting away from fantasy football reminded me that all that matters is just winning. Because that's the truth. 20 years from now, we're looking back on this time frame. We're not going to be looking at stats or fantasy football stats. We're going to be looking at wins, losses, and did they get a Super Bowl? That's it. My fantasy team, 11 points for a sorry. I thought you were talking something else there. I think fans want to see him throw a bit more because it's exciting, but also they want to know when it's needed he can do it. And I think this is a fair statement, the second half of it. There's two different statements here from you, really, Duck. They want to see him because it's more casual fans want more excitement. It's the same reason why the golden at bat rule might get added to baseball. Dumb, crazy, weird, whatever. Because casual sports fans want offense, scoring, home runs, touchdowns, big bombs in the air, 3-point shots galore. They want excitement. That's what a casual fan wants. And running the football 45 times a day doesn't do that. They also want to know when it's needed, he can still do it. See, the thing is here, that's a separate statement. The fans do want to know he can do it. Problem is they forget that he can do it. They forget he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl a few years ago. They forget that he was an MVP candidate the last 2 years, the betting front runner 12 weeks into the year last year. They forget that A.J. Brown had 1,500 passing yards and Devontae Smith 1,000 last year. They forget he can do it because this year he's not. You know, where did I do these numbers here? Right there. You know, I don't think Jalen Hurts is getting enough respect in the MVP conversation as he deserves. And maybe I'm saying that because I got a Jalen Hurts MVP bet that ain't going to hit. But last year, everybody said Lamar Jackson had this amazing, amazing season last year on the way to winning an MVP. Everyone talks about Jalen Hurts, pass attempts being low. He's 22nd in the league right now, Jalen Hurts, in pass attempts per game. You know what Lamar Jackson was last year winning the MVP? 17th. Okay. Jalen Hurts is 6th in passing yards per attempt. Lamar Jackson was 4th. So all the stats that he doesn't have high on, yards per game, passing attempts per game, total yards, Lamar Jackson was 15th in yards last year, 16th in yards per game. But he was 8th in completion percentage and 4th per attempt on his way to winning the MVP. Jalen Hurts is actually playing at Lamar Jackson last year level. But they're not winning because of that. They're winning because of running the football. Just win, baby. Just win, baby. You can't say Hurts is doo-doo or goated if you don't throw the ball, Phil. Why? Jalen Hurts is elite. Now, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if this is legit or not. No, I'm not even going to say that. Never mind. I'll write this down and look this up for later. I don't want to sound too stupid this morning. I really stopped caring about fantasy football about 3 years ago. I also try not to draft Eagles players. Yeah, I mean, well, I never let Eagles players change. I kept it very separate. But I spent a lot of time in fantasy football world. A lot of time. I did fantasy football before computers back in the late 80s, early 90s, where we would just pick teams and use back of a piece of paper to track our stats and teams. I was a big fantasy football person. Thing is, I just kind of got bored of it because it was distracting from what actually mattered, which was the football. I want to care about football and winning football games and talking about football. Not and this goes into my Justin Herbert supposed hate. I don't hate Justin Herbert. It's the fact that people put Justin Herbert up on this pedestal as this elite top 5 quarterback when he hasn't won jack shit in the NFL. But he puts up great fantasy football numbers. So he must be good. I'm more concerned at no scoring in the first quarter. Exactly. Because it may be needed against better teams. Absolutely. We're worried about Jalen Hurts only throwing the football 19 times. But we're not worried about why they haven't scored much in the first quarter. That should be what the conversation's about. Not as exciting because of lack of throw. Well, you know what? To me, it's exciting. You know what's exciting to me, Mad Chatter? When my football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, whoop ass. And that's what they do, is whoop ass. I don't really care about passing yards or rushing yards or sacks or interceptions. I mean, Quincy Mitchell doesn't have a single interception yet this year. I don't care. Because you know what? He's putting every single wide receiver on lockdown. No one's criticizing Quincy Mitchell for no interceptions. He doesn't have the flashy stats, but they're criticizing Jalen Hurts because he doesn't throw the ball more. Baseball is only born for people with no attention span. That is true. That is true. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Giants, Commanders, Cowboys, and Commanders all have won Super Bowls being run first and playing great defense. Eagles fans don't care about winning. They care about imagery. Eagles fans don't care about imagery. Some Eagles fans do, but real Eagles fans don't care about that. They only care about winning, mister. The media makes you think that we don't care about that. Look at Peyton Manning's last Super Bowl. Absolutely, I was already thinking about Peyton Manning's. It's kind of what I wrote down. I was thinking that Peyton Manning didn't do much. I was gonna say it, then I didn't want to say it. I'm like, all right, you know what? We'll do the stats later, and then bring it up tomorrow. Are you talking about Peyton Manning or Peyton Manning? Just which Manning? Stupid commercial. Exactly. Your points. It's like Big Al's reading my mind this morning on that one. MVPs are meaningless. How often does an MVP win Super Bowls? Not often. I think that's actually a pretty fair statement. I have to go back and look. Patrick Mahomes has won a bunch of MVPs. Lamar Jackson obviously has got multiple. He's never won a Super Bowl. So I think that's a fair comment as well. I'm not trying to make this about the MVP, so to speak. It's just I'm making it more about the fact that his numbers mirror MVP numbers, but he still doesn't get the respect. At end of last year, Hurts looked lost beyond. He did look lost. The whole team looked lost at the end of last year. The media has been pushing the great white hope of Josh Allen, but if you look at his actually numbers, he's right in line with Burrows, Jackson, Hurts. Absolutely. Josh Allen, I don't want to make anything negative about Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's a phenomenal quarterback. Probably one of the only quarterbacks I would take over Jalen Hurts at this point. But his numbers are spot on with Jalen Hurts overall this year. Jalen Hurts are higher in some categories, actually. Joe Burrows is a great quarterback, but, you know, he's injury prone, I guess is the word I'll use for him. Lamar Jackson loses in the big games. Lamar Jackson is like the Joel Embiid second-round exit. Just can't win. So Josh Allen, who leadership, running seconds, catching touchdowns, throwing over the field, he should lose MVP to the quarterback. I did not say that. Did not say that. I think he should lose the MVP to Saquon Barkley, but that's another whole subject. Worry is not needed. The Eagles have discovered the formula that works. Absolutely. And, you know, Rick, to counter that, just so you know, what people are going to tell you when you say that is that in the last 15 years, the last 15 Super Bowl winners, 14 out of 15 of them have been top 15 passing teams. 11 of the last top 15 Super Bowl winners have had top 10 passing offenses. 0 of the last 15 Super Bowl winners has a top rushing team in the football. Well, this is the year that the Eagles are going to break that trend, right? Because it's a winning formula. It's old school. That's why they chose the last 15. Because before the last 15 years, you could run the football and win a Super Bowl. So this year bucks that trend. Jaden throws like 300 to 400 every game. And what are they? 8-5? We all have I have an attention span. No, actually, I probably don't. Peyton Manning was not physically able to throw. Yeah, that's true. That is true. What's up, Rick? Hurts has nearly equivalent numbers to Allen this year. Some can argue slightly better. Well, some are slightly better. But Josh Allen throws the ball more. It's weird because I have to look at the Buffalo Bills stats more like detailed, how much they run the football versus pass the football. But Josh Allen, I've brought this up before, Rick, on this show. Or Rich, I can't see if that's a H or a K. I brought this up on the show in years past that Josh Allen's career trajectory versus Jalen Hurts is actually not that far off. Josh Allen's been in the league a lot longer than Jalen Hurts has at this point. And nobody ever questioned Josh Allen's interceptions because he had some interception-prone seasons. No one ever questioned Josh Allen's, statistics or anything. Everyone just has always thought that Josh Allen is elite. Never questioned his down years. Jalen Hurts can fart the wrong way, and we'll question him. Allen's leadership is in line with Hurts and Jackson. His passing is in line with Burrow and Jackson. His total touchdowns are in line with Hurts. His total passing touchdowns, Burrow. Josh Allen's a great quarterback. And like I said, today, December 5th, 2024, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are the only two quarterbacks I would take over Jalen Hurts right now to win me one game today. The only two quarterbacks. Hurts and Allen are super close this year, but the media hypes Allen and puts Hurts down. Yeah. Instead of hyping up Saquon Barkley or hyping up the coaching job in Nick Sirianni, we got to put Hurts down. And that's a serious problem going on right now. Josh Allen is the most electrifying player in sports. I hated him a few months ago, let's be honest. Yeah, you're fickle. You're a fickle fan. Yep, his completion percentage is higher. Absolutely. Look, I look at it that way. Look, I mean, he's 7th in the league in completion percentage right now, Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson was 8th last year when he won the MVP. Allen is a great quarterback, but he's in line with this season's other great quarterbacks. He's pulling away from them, redefining the position. Barkley's redefining the importance of position. Yeah, Josh Allen's redefining his thing, but Saquon Barkley is reinvigorating an entire league for one position. Like this whole, they're hiding something with Jalen Hurts because he only threw the ball 19 times is the most I can't speak this morning. Words just aren't flowing out. I'm too excited. I can't get the right words out. It's the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time. Because why? Why even say that? When it's only reason they're doing it is because they're winning football games doing it. Burrow has fallen in my mind a little bit. We're always criticizing football players. Let's do a show shitting on the fans just to keep things in perspective. I'm not criticizing football players. I'm criticizing the media that covers the football players. And we can shit on fans because there are a lot worse fans out there in the world than Philadelphia fans. All the bad stuff around the world that happens in stadiums and in the streets supporting teams, Philadelphia is so minuscule in the problem. Time to break the trend. Stats are meant to be changed. Stats are used far too often and tweaked to support your narrative. The only stat I care about, Rick, is how many wins you get, how many losses you get, and who's standing at the end of the season. It's all that matters. Allen stops taking games off last year. He is the best quarterback to ever do it. I don't know about that. The NFL MVP is rigged as much as regular season Chiefs games. It's a popularity contest. The MVP is basically who's the best quarterback. Just like Defensive Player of the Year award is who gets the most sacks. Awards just need their names changed. I almost feel like Offensive Player of the Year is more important than MVP at this point. Then Mahomes and Goff are better if it's W's. I peeped that the other day. Appreciate it. I forget what that was about. If Hurts throws a very nice deep ball, and he is a very good quarterback, to be clear. Jalen Hurts throws a fantastic deep ball. You're not an Eagles fan. You don't know this. Jalen Hurts is fantastic at throwing the deep ball. One of the best in the league. It's not just W's. It is just why isn't it just winning is all that matters? All things are cyclical. Strong rushing offense are making a comeback as linebackers and safeties have gotten smaller to adjust to heavy passing. Rick, were you part of that? We had a conversation. I had a show about this like a year or two ago. This whole cycle about defensive tackles were getting smaller and more athletic, and linebackers and running backs were going to start to become more important. And then after that, 5 years from now, defensive line, you'll start seeing more Vince Wilforks and Jordan Davises pop up because they're going to have to stop the run. They'll get back. It's this whole big cycle. It is. It really, truly is. 65% electrifying entertainment. I don't care about entertainment. I care about wins. Stats are important, and then W's are important. Like 5 wins is fine for Jin. What? Goff, great stats, not electrifying. His stats aren't even that spectacular this year. What's up, Bruce Bryce Harper? Good morning to you. The stats are in favor of other quarterbacks or equal to Allen. Yep. Why Hurts is not what? I feel you are right that it only matters who wins, and I feel that's why CK is still the best, even if they only win close games. Why CK? What? Sorry, I'm misunderstanding your comment there. Stats are an important component. They're a component, but winning is all that matters. Do you not realize that? Barkley pulling off 300 yards of offense is electrifying. Barkley slicing off 20-yard runs is electrifying. Barkley hurdling backwards over players is electrifying. Laying a smashed hit, a pancake block to free Saquon Barkley is electrifying. Putting up 30 points in a game is electrifying. Big hits. When did we lose interest in big hits from defensive linemen? Hitting guys. The jet sweep last week that Jalen Carter just blew up. That's electrifying. But the casual fan just wants 80-yard bombs. The key question, this is actually a fair, this is finally TMC brings something to the table that's important. If X player was not there for that team, would that team be good? If Jalen Hurts was not our quarterback, if Kenny Pickett was our quarterback right now, would we be 10-2? And the answer is equivalently no. Now, we still might have a winning record, but we would not be 10-2 with Kenny Pickett as our quarterback. We would not. Josh Allen, without him, his team would be 3 wins. Super valuable. Jalen Hurts, the Eagles would be probably 5-5, 6-4 without Jalen Hurts right now. Maximum. KC. Sorry, my apologies. They're still number 1. Look, they don't look as clean as they used to, but they are still the best team in football. Eagles are a perfect roster. Top 6 teams in pass attempts per game versus bottom 6. Hurts is a game manager. That's all he needs to be. But he has been more than a game manager in the past. He can be more than a game manager if necessary. He doesn't have to be. We are the Penn State Eagles. I hate Penn State. Fans and voters have limited time to watch. If you want MVP, you need to show it when eyes are on prime time by winning. Hurts is best when he's game managing with the upside of being able to run like a Kenny G. No, it's all good, Bruce. It's all good. Hurts is amazing as he is tough and not a quitter and has all the skills to be a top. He doesn't have the skills to be a top. He is a top quarterback. The MVP is really the offensive line. That is so true, Todd. That is so true. Barkley is the most electrifying running back in football. We can agree on that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Eagles will keep the same formula for the rest of the season, and that's why they will win it all, because they don't listen to the talking heads on ESPN. 100%. Mitchie Poo, that means we're still at 267. We were at 268, but I lost a subscriber last night, so we actually went down one. Come on, guys. If you're watching, please hit that like button, and please hit that subscribe button. We need Mitchie Poo to get to 269. He wants to see me hit 269 on subscribers. So if you're watching and this is your first time you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. This is Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Barkley, you can argue, but our team was Super Bowl great already. We were just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The Ravens would be terrible without Lamar Jackson. The Eagles would not be elite without Jalen Hurts. It's pretty obvious. To argue Hurts can be good, used 2 years ago as evidence, not last year. Look, Josh Allen has had down seasons. Nobody criticizes Josh Allen for his down seasons. I think the real true question goes to your question a few moments ago, man, Chatter. What would the Eagles be like this year? All right, let's not go to the backup Kenny Pickett. Let's just look around the league at some bad quarterbacks. What would the Eagles' record be with Jameis Winston as our starting quarterback? because he threw for almost 500 yards last week, but they lost. What would the Eagles be like record-wise with Derek Carr? What would the Eagles' record be like with Trevor Lawrence, with Anthony Richardson, with Brock Purdy? What would the record be? I'd be hard to imagine that would be as good as it is now. And that's because of Jalen Hurts, his leadership. Exactly. I mean, that Super Bowl run in 2022, I mean, Miles Sanders had like 1,300 rushing yards. Miles Sanders had double-digit touchdowns. I was worried after that Super Bowl loss about losing Miles Sanders. I wouldn't touch a thing on Eagles offense. Maybe wide receivers. No need. Top 6 teams in pass attempts per game: Dallas, Cleveland, Vegas, Cincinnati, Seattle Jets in pass attempts per game. Losing team, losing team, losing team, losing team. Tied for first in the division, losing team. Bottom 6 in pass attempts per game: winning team, winning team, winning team, winning team, winning team, winning team. Rick, I love this. I think this is fantastic. Rick or Rich, whatever. Is it Rick or Rich? I can't see. My eyes just can't see the screen today. But thank you for your comment. It's a spot-on comment right here. Explains my point 100%. You will see the passing game come into play in the playoffs if they can stop the run game. Tell someone to stop the run game, and I'm sure AJ. Yeah, no one's going to talk about. I know AJ Brown only had 5 catches for like 65 yards on Sunday. But if you go back and watch each and every one of AJ Brown catches from Sunday, it just goes to show. You stop Saquon, Jalen Hurts throwing perfect balls. Saw somebody talking about how his release point looks different this year. And that might be why. Jalen Hurts put some dimes on A.J. Brown on Sunday. He just doesn't have to do it regularly. It's going to piss so many people off, Big Al, when in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts throws for 350 yards and wins the MVP. Because he can't do it, but he could. Huge difference is our defense is so much better this year. It's got the potential to be the greatest defense in Eagles history. Rick says the Phillies are about to make some major moves. Phillies news, the Phillies are officially not in on Juan Soto. Did I want Juan Soto? Sure. Well, am I surprised to hear the Phillies aren't in on Juan Soto? No. I mean, I don't think there's only so many $300 to $600 million players you could sign. Hurts was the MVP favorite after 12 weeks last year. He was great most of the year. It was only because of him that we were 10-1 last year. Phil, I feel many of our fans are now learning and seeing that we really are a top NFL team, probably the best in the NFC except for maybe Detroit. Absolutely agree with you. But still, some people won't admit that. Some people won't agree to that. The talking heads don't want to say that because they don't do it flashy. People want jazz hands. They want you to win like this. They don't want you to win like this. Do you feel we're as good as Detroit? I think on a neutral field, I'm taking into account the fact that Detroit Lions have literally 741.3 players on injured reserves right now. Considering that, I think on a neutral field, the Eagles are the better team. At 100% both teams healthy, it's neck and neck, Bruce. Detroit's a well-coached team. They got a great run team. They got great defense. Detroit is basically the Eagles with more injuries. Got a great offensive line. I ripped on Josh Allen last 2 years until it was ridiculous how lazy he was. Yeah, I think you called Josh Allen lazy in this chat many a times. Joe, this chat, a majority of this core group here are very pro Jalen Hurts. The pump man hasn't been in yet today. Hurts and Josh Allen have the same stats almost. They do. They do. Finally, Josh Allen maturing. Miles Sanders is the third running back. I know. It's funny. Just goes to show how great the offensive line of the Eagles is. Miles Sanders went from rushing for 1,300 yards and double-digit touchdowns to being a third string. Losing his job to Chuba Hubbard. It was actually a pretty good running back. That is the one thing when we look at the Carolina Panthers that we got to stop is Chuba Hubbard. Miles on IR and done. Okay, maybe he's done. Okay. The strong running game helps us decrease mistakes in the passing game. Absolutely, it does. What's up, Philly fanatic? Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button. We're talking Eagles. We can start turning the conversation into this week's game with the Panthers as well. Sixers, we could talk about the Sixers a little bit as we get to the second half of this show. Another loss last night. Joel Embiid no longer has personal injury reasons for why he's missing games. I don't know if you guys saw this last night, but you could get tickets to yesterday's Sixers game for $2. That is how far the Sixers have fallen in the minds of Sixers fans. Jonathan Brooks, the first off the board last year, will be ramping it up as third game off injury. I think Howie saw the move to the running game and paid AJ and Smitty to keep them happy. Absolutely. Howie thinks 3 steps ahead. Howie thinks 4 steps ahead. Howie's a chess player. Daryl Morey claims to be a chess fan. But Howie Roseman is a chess master. He's a grand champion. Knowing that their number may drop this season. Keeping people happy. You keep your players happy. Keeps the locker room happy. Keeps everything happy. Use the money they would have spent on Soto and spend it on several good players. Absolutely agree. You know, you need to flip out some of the bats. You still need to build out a bullpen. You can only do so much with the Phillies, Rick. And I wasn't, would I have been upset if they spent $600 million on Juan Soto? No, I wouldn't have cared. But I don't think it was necessary or the way to build a winner. Detroit about to lose 2 out of the next 4. Detroit's got a tough-ass schedule. Compile that with the injuries that they've faced. It's going to be a tough sledding for the Detroit Lions. Right now, the Eagles are the better team because we are not as beat up as Detroit. Earlier in the season, Detroit was the better team. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. With all the injuries, I will concede Eagles will be in the Super Bowl. So maybe we will play Detroit. I hope we do. I want it so bad. Just because one of my best friends is also from Detroit and lives in Detroit and is a Detroit Lions fan. So I want that best friend battle between me and Jason on that. Phil, we'll have a great day, my man Bruce. We'll see you next time. Panthers playing solid right now. The Panthers are 3-9 on the season, but they're 2-2 since Bryce Young has gotten back in the starting lineup. The Panthers offense averages 18.1 points per game, 30th in the NFL, but they've scored 93 points in the last 4 games combined. They almost beat the Bucs last week. They almost beat the Chiefs the week before that. So the Buccaneers are playing pretty darn good football right now. They're averaging about 23 points a game right now over their last 4. Jordan Davis will have more playing time this week. Mark it down. The only thing you got to stop is Chuba Hubbard. So, yeah, he might. I don't know if he'll have more playing time. He'll continue to have a more meaningful impact like he did this past week, in my opinion. Phillies baseball is boring because they all swing for the fences. Yeah, that's why I think they need to make some changes. To the lineup. I would not even spend $69 for this game right now. Have we gotten those 2 new subscribers yet, Mitch? Come on, we need to get to $269 today for Mitchy Poo. Yes, Young is getting used to the game and game speed. Sometimes taking that step back, Duck, benching him for a minute, helps him take a step forward. And that's good. I'm impressed by the play of Becton, Jurgen, and Johnson. This offensive line is special. Philly Fanatic, absolutely. Absolutely, this offensive line is special. And I've talked about it this week already. Everyone can't wait to see what the extension for Zach Bond will be. And he's going to get it. But in my mind, Mekhi Becton is as important, if not more important, to get an extension done with now than Zach Bond. It's a hot take. But remember, offensive line is the most important thing to build depth on and strength on in the NFL. Blocking, protecting your quarterback, run blocking, very important. Nobody wants Alec Boehm, apparently. Guess these rumors of him being lazy are starting to circulate. I think Seattle does want him. It seems like a place that he could go. The Phillies asked way too much, more of a negotiating tactic. I think Alec Boehm will be traded by the end of the year, we'll say. 76ers are an abomination. It's Embiid and the Sixers' fault for ruining the product, and they want to build a new stadium. Look, they are an abomination. And I didn't turn them on until about halfway through the fourth quarter last night. I choose not to watch nowadays. It's a tough watch. It really is. Soto is the next Yasiel Puig. Huh. Maybe. I don't know. Juan Soto's actually, when you look at his numbers, he's a pretty legit player, Juan Soto. This is a great draft by Howie. Hopefully we stay healthy, but the young rookies are playing all-pro football. Yeah, think about it. Philly fanatic. I mean, you got your first and your second round pick, 2 top 45 draft picks that are playing at an all-pro level in your secondary. Just think about that. Jelix Hunt finally starting to get playing time and make an impact. Harry Roseman's first 3-round picks, top picks over the last 3 years or so, since 2021, have been can't miss. Our O-line just keeps finding ways forward, even with losses at key position and injuries. Eagles have probably the O-line bench in the NFL. Yeah, half our bench players would be starting in the NFL, Duck, on the offensive line, probably. K1 bringing the updates on the grand champion chess matches today. I love it, K1. They will get the stadium while stinking up the city with their play, and we will eat that crap like it. Yeah. I honestly, I guarantee that unless somebody took me, I wouldn't even go to the new stadium. Chuba Hubbard is a fantasy running back of mine. If it's any indication, I benched him. Absolutely smart move on your part. Jurgen and Becton are the 2 best guards in football. Well, Cam Jurgens is a center. Landon Dickerson's the other guard. Cam Jurgens, I don't think enough said about how well he's played as the center, replacing him. That white helmet was awesome. Man Chatter, I love the white helmet with the green wings. Yeah, absolutely. If you did not thumb this, you're a piece. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Every day we're getting a few new subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button. Most of you have done that, please hit the share button. Share it on one of your social media platforms, any one of them. It's pretty easy. Just click share, and it does it. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. God, I really want that 500 subscribers by the end of the year. Please help me get there. Come on, guys. They may do the Mike Whites in their next maybe. Watching Carter, Bond, and Mitchell. Beast. Bond will want to stay here. I wonder if Bond will take less money to stay here in a system he can succeed in and knows he can succeed in versus just going out and getting a couple extra $1 million on the open market, but maybe having less success and not, succeeding as well. It's interesting to me to think about that. Is the Carolina game a trap game? Well, Todd, I'm glad you bring that up because I think that's something that we could talk about here for a few minutes. Is it a trap game? Yes, in theory. No, in the sense that I don't trust the Eagles. I don't believe the Eagles would fall victim of a trap game scenario against a bad team. Like if we were playing the Giants this week, a division rival that was bad, maybe. Carolina, while they've been better, while Bryce Young's been better, while the team has been better, the Panthers are a bad team. Okay? They've been better, but they still stink. All right? The Eagles are a very disciplined football team. They're a very well-coached football team. I don't think the Eagles and their vision of what they want the success to be in this city can fall victim to a trap game. I don't think this team has it in their makeup to fall victim to a trap game. Now, if there was a trap game, this would be it. You just beat the Ravens. You're on an 8-game winning streak. You got the Steelers next week, followed by Washington the week after that. In theory, this would be the week that trap game, so to speak, happens. But in my opinion, the coaching and the leadership of this team will not allow them to fall. Will they lose a game this year? Probably. Maybe 2. But this won't be the week. They're not going to fall victim to the Carolina Panthers this week. It's just not going to happen. Now, in my mind, can it be a trap game in the sense where they don't win by 20? The last I looked, I think they were 14-point favorites. Maybe they only win by 7, 8, or 9, and it's closer than we want it to be? Sure. In that sense of a trap game, sure. But there's no way the Eagles lose this game on Sunday. It's just a matter of do they win by 21 or 6? No. You said it. No takebacks. No takebacks on your comments. It could be very close if Eagles don't come to tackle, but not a worry. Exactly what I just said. Bond will not take substantially less money. He has a future needs to consider. He's been an underpaid bencher for years. He needs to get the bag. That's a question I always ask myself about it. And I never, Duck, just so you know, I never criticize a player for taking the bag and going. When you have one opportunity to get paid, he's 27. This is his one opportunity to get a big payday. If he chooses to take $5 million more to go elsewhere, I won't frown upon it. I'll bitch about Howie Roseman not giving him the money instead. It's not a trap game, says Big Al. It will be closer than it should. Give some players some rest, maybe more Gainwell. Yeah, I would hope that this team, I would hope that we jump out to like a 21, 24-0 lead, start resting Saquon, maybe pull Jalen Hurts early, and then they close the gap a little bit, but that's about it. Nooms, what's up, my man? Good morning to you. Team has been through too much to have a letdown game. If there's a letdown, it won't be on defense. Absolutely agree with you on that. I think they're just too disciplined, too focused, too laser focused for the letdown. One good corner, J.C. Horn. I forgot about J.C. Horn. I really don't pay enough attention to the Carolina Panthers, obviously. No one needs an upset in sports right now more than Bryce Young. Bryce Young's been playing good football lately, Joe. The linebacker core is very mid, no stars of the Panthers. This is the game to go up 3 touchdowns in the first half to start resting. Absolutely agree. This is what we used to want from the Sixers with Joel Embiid last year. We used to always talk about old school load management. Blow a team out, rest in the fourth quarter. That's what we need. That's what, needs to happen for the Eagles. They need Saquon. I don't want to see Saquon Barkley get 150 yards. The Panthers give up 108. Where is it? There. 166.8 yards rushing a game. They're the worst rush defense in football. They also give up the most points per game in football. I don't want to see the Eagles need to use. If Saquon Barkley gets 85 yards and we win, I'm going to be a really happy man. Because that means we're going to be up big in the third quarter and he's not going to play the fourth quarter. That's what I want. This defense is going to keep every game close. You know what's pretty exciting, too, about the defense and about this team in general? That some of the leaders of this team right now are the younger guys. Jalen Carter on the defense specifically. He's only in his second year. He's only 23 years old. And he is the de facto leader of the defense now. The same guy that got benched like week 2 or 3 for missing practice or missing a meeting has now become the actual leader of this defense at such a young age. I think it's pretty special when you think about that. Steelers might beat us to get the PA Cup. They might. We'll see. We'll tackle that next week. Clowney and Winham are good players. Jadeveon Clowney leads the team in sacks with 3.5 sacks. So, yeah. I'm still not over Jadeveon Clowney ruining Carson Wentz's career, by the way. Hurts has started making a few solid window throws and anticipation throws. He has improved. He's been making the throws. He just doesn't have to make them that often. Yes, more Kenny G. Yeah, that's right. I saw an article or some video was talking about free agent running back. The running back is reinventing itself this year. So there's going to be free agent running backs next year and guys that teams will target. And one of the names that I saw in this video was Kenny Gainwell be targeted by teams. You're saying 37-16 Eagles win. Yeah, I mean, that could be a score. What is up, Eric? Good morning to the gatekeeper of the house. Joe says, Carter will have a good game and will win. I mean, I hope he has a better than a good game. I hope he continues to just straight up dominate. Bryce Young has looked competent, nothing barn burn. But that's a big difference from what he used to look like, which was the worst. There was a point earlier this year I was saying it was the worst quarterback in football. Now that might be Will Levis. I think 2017 Broncos game. Which one was that? Dude, you asked me to think about a specific game from 7 years ago. Early predictions from Duck, 33-13. That'd be good. Dean is also only in his second year. Dean is in his third year, Nakobe Dean. Because his first year he didn't play much. Last year he got hurt. It's his third year. But Nakobe Dean is only 23, about to be 24. Also, very young. DeJean, player, coach. Q, player, coach. Dean, player, coach. We talked a lot about this yesterday, about how crazy it is how many young players have accepted Vic Fangio's style so easily. Steelers never beat the Eagles in Philly. Is that true? Big Al. I mean, I'm not going to fact check you. I'm going to accept that you're fact checking yourself right there. So there's that. There you go. How about them apples? Clowney plays dirty. Look, when I was starting to do my research about 2 or 3 days ago on the Panthers team himself, and I'm like, oh, who's the leading sack guy on the Panthers defense? I saw Jadeveon Clowney's name. I totally forgot he even played for Carolina. I won't lie to you, Duck. And then I'm like, now I want this game even more. I want Jordan Mailata just to pancake his ass so bad. Lane Johnson, who was here, in such a vital part of, that 2019-20 run. I want them to pancake his ass. I want them to bowl over him. Because I'm still not over it. I still to this day say that Carson Wentz's career would have turned out slightly differently in the NFL, not with the Eagles, in the NFL differently, if he didn't take that concussion, that dirty shot to the back of the helmet. He was struggling. He wasn't as great as he was in 17, whatever. But he was still, in 2019, he took Greg Ward and Boston Scott and brought them on his shoulders to the playoffs. Threw for all those yards without a wide receiver catching 500 yards. The Jadeveon Clowney hit ended mostly Carson Wentz's career as an NFL starting quarterback. And I think he still has CTE issues from it to this day. And I'm never going to get over it. To me, Jadeveon Clowney, everyone says, oh, do you want this guy on your team or that guy? Would you take the bitter enemy on your team? Sure. I would never want to have to cheer for Jadeveon Clowney because I'll never get over the hit he put on Carson Wentz. I'll never get over it. I hope that Jordan Davis conditioning matches Carter's in the playoffs. That would scare the poop out of every. Yeah. Well, they've been protecting Jordan Davis, so to speak. They've been using Joel Embiid load management type skill set on Jordan Davis this year. And this past week, it paid off against the Ravens. I hope Jordan Davis only plays 12 snaps this week against the Panthers. That means we're dominating. And he can continue to rest. Keep that conditioning up for the playoffs. It's a letdown if all the Eagle stars are sitting by the end of the third quarter. I want to see Kenny Two Gloves Pickett get busy. Yeah, exactly. Got to see Kenny Two Gloves. Phil Core 12 in chat. How do you compare this team's offense with Kellen Moore versus Super Bowl offense? Two totally different things because they had to throw for that year. They don't have to throw right now. But it's just as dominant, if not more dominant. Look, Miles Sanders was great in 2022, but he didn't instill fear in opposing defenses. Saquon Barkley imposes fear into opposing defenses. That was a 51. Okay, I do remember a blowout. I didn't remember it was the Broncos. Okay, thank you. Steelers haven't won here in ages. Al says never. You say in ages. Got it. The Eagles are 1 sack behind the sack leading team. We have 13 sacks so far. We are leading the league in sacks since the bye week, since our bye week, week 6. Since week 6, we've got 30 sacks at a 10.6 sack percentage, which is most in the NFL. So, yeah, our biggest weakness, the edge rush, actually turned into a strength pretty quickly. Carter will have 5 sacks Sunday, maybe a fumble, 5 sacks from just one guy. So that would be something, Joe. Fear of clown knees is a recognizable phobia, Phil. Seek treatment. Okay. Gotcha. I see what you did there. K1. And I'll accept it. I don't have a fear of clownies. I have a hate. I don't hate anything. Hate's a strong word. I don't have a fear of clownies. I have an extreme dislike of clownies. I think that's the better way to describe it, okay? All right? You're going to laugh. Have fun. Miles Sanders, last 3 years, has 6 yards. I'm not going to fact check that because it sounds very believable. It really, really does. Very, very believable right there. Yeah. So what else here? What do we got here? Guys, you're watching Trade in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Like, share, subscribe, please. You know what else is funny? Breaking news yesterday. Well, a couple of things Eagles related yesterday. One, Brandon Mann, first punter to win Special Teams Player of the Week for the Eagles since Donnie Jones in 2013. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was voted by his peers as the most annoying player in the NFL. Kind of love seeing that. On the road, the Steelers whooped the Eagles 20-14, October 24th. I think this offense is a work in progress. I hope Kellen is here more than one season. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, K1. What's it going to take to keep Kellen Moore here in the offseason? How do we convince him to stay here in the offseason? I'm having trouble remembering this Broncos game, guys. I really am. Barkley allows us to force our offense on other teams. The other years, our offense was surgical, but no one feared us. I think that's crazy. Yeah, there's a difference between the amount of fear and will that we were able to force from this and other years. Was run heavy. Also, they just had to throw a lot in the Super Bowl. It's true. 2021 3-1. What? Don't know what that is. 18 likes. Thank you very much, Mitch. And are we still at 2 away from your goal? Does that mean we still haven't gained any new subscribers today? Is 20-14 a whooping? Maybe. I don't know. Is 1965 a last win? Okay. All right. Also, the Eagles, Paris Campbell back on the practice squad. C.J. Uzomah, active roster. So they're filling that backup tight end. Yesterday's practice, Dallas Goedert didn't practice, obviously, but Darius Slade did. Devontae Smith practiced yesterday. Reed Blankenship did not, but still there. Oh, shit, we blew past 269 today? I didn't even get a screenshot of 269 from you? Or did you get it? That means we gained like 5 new subscribers during the show. Holy shit. Keep smashing that subscribe button. Keep smashing that share button. We need 2 unsubs, yeah. 2 unsubs. More staying in Philly another season or 2 would make us stupidly good at passing. You know, it's something I saw. Because you don't have to make every narrative about negative Jalen Hurts talk, okay? And this is something I want to touch on. I was going to save this for another show. We only got 20 minutes left, so we're not going to dive too deep into it today. Duck. But do we keep Kellen Moore because Nick Sirianni is still a question? I'm all in on Nick Sirianni. I love Nick Sirianni as the coach. But this season is shaping up. So my man Ryan Reese has been on this show before. He does shows with 97.3 ESPN, based out of South Jersey, the Philly Sports Talk in South Jersey, the Mike Gill Show. And Ryan Reese and I interact a lot on social media. And they were wondering, with the success this team has had, is there a minimum amount of playoff success this Eagles team needs for Nick Sirianni to not just keep his job, to have some job security? Like, if they get knocked out by Tampa Bay, say, in the division round of the playoffs, again, does Nick Sirianni get fired? Or does he get a short leash and you keep Kellen Moore here on a longer leash because he's the ultimate replacement? Or has Nick Sirianni built up enough confidence from the ownership and management of this organization that this season, because we talk about Becton or Zach Bond needing an extension, Nick Sirianni's only got 1 year left on his deal. The Eagles have to make a decision about Nick Sirianni's future at the end of this season, because you don't have him on a 1 year lame duck deal. It's something that's interesting. And teams have kept offensive coordinators at a higher price because they're eventually the replacement. But then Ben Johnson, also in Detroit, just chose not to go to one of those dreadful cities. So can we go back or head to? No, let's just head to 369. Okay. This is why I love this show. The Talking Heads waste more time being angry that Jalen just wins and isn't concerned about stats. They don't compare this team's offense. All I care about is winning. All. Onward and upward, TMC. That's right. Upward. The goal is 500 before the end of the year. And I only do that with each and every one of you that watch every morning, and each and every one of you hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that share button. That's how we build this platform. George Carlin said 71 was 69 with George Carlin is one of the greatest comedians of all time. He is on my Mount Rushmore names of all time. George Carlin, Richard Pryor, 1, 2. In either order, you could put him, and I wouldn't care. George Carlin is great. I love George Carlin. My favorite George Carlin. He's got so many great clips and skits. But his skit talking about what it takes to make people believe. Put a sign on a bench that says wet paint, and every single person will touch that bench to see if it's wet paint. But tell everybody there's a man in the sky that controls everything down below, and everyone just believes. That is my favorite. I think I might have fumbled some of the wording on that one there. But that is my funniest George Carlin moment of all time. And I love it. And I use it all the time. The biggest Willie in Philly is the Phil Stiefel show. That's right. Getting Big Willie with it. I think Nick is secure no matter what now, just from the last 7 weeks. Okay, and that's what I'm asking, because I don't know the answer to this question, Joe. To me, he is. I'm not moving on from Nick Sirianni's win record and the fact he's been to the playoffs. This will be his 4th year in a row. I would not move on from him. But, well, the Eagles see it as you see it, as I see it. Sirianni has been clowning less impressors and being more like Reed and Belichick, and he hasn't been jawing at the stands. That's all I'm asking. That's fair. That's fair. Phil is on his Professor X mode today saying everything I'm thinking. Dude, it's been a fire week this week. We've had some good conversations this week, Eric. We really have. I'm giving a little eye contact from time to time. You missed the cold open. I went a very long opening monologue today before I got to the comments. I was giving eye contact throughout it, just so you know. George Carlin. I mean, guy like George Carlin, if he'd start today, would be canceled in 30 seconds. Typical Philly fans looking for shit to worry about and have anxiety over. Stop and enjoy what's happening here. It doesn't happen all the time. Rejoice. Yeah, Rick. No, I'm not saying it's right or wrong to question it. It's just like, will they re-sign Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, the priorities? What's the future hold for Nick Sirianni? Is there, because I remember saying early in the season that the Eagles had to get to X to give that extension to Nick Sirianni, because you don't want a coach on a lame duck contract. Just like they gave Rob Thompson a 1-year extension. So they had 2 years, not 1 year. Is there a minute? Like we talked about 2 years ago on this show that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles window is open and they're going to make multiple Super Bowl appearances. Well, they haven't been back yet. If they don't get back this year, is that like what's say they make it to the championship game and lose? Does that get him a 3-year extension? If they lose in the division round, does that get him only a 1-year extension? Does losing in the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round, get him fired? Like, where's the level of confidence in Nick Sirianni? And I think it's an interesting conversation. They didn't do it in a clickbait way. They did it in a very open discussion mode. I think Nick earned a front office position. Maybe we make Kellen have Deuce's old title, assistant head coach. Maybe. Nick did that fight family speech and totally redeemed himself. Yeah. I've had a ton of Carlin comedy tapes growing up. My parents never got why I like him, but the guy's so funny. He is. He's a goat. He is. If George Carlin told you Nick Sirianni was going to get fired every season, most fans would believe it. It's true. It's true. Believe everything he says. I still want him gone if he keeps doing stupid, childish crap. All right. I mean, I get it. I get the frustration with that stuff. I do. But I look at the win-loss record as well. The national media don't like Nick Sirianni. Maybe. We're up to 270. I'm so happy we got to 273 today. That's 6 subscribers in one show. I love it. Thank you very much, Rick. Have a great day if you're dipping out. Appreciate you. And I appreciate your show as well. Still waiting for that invite to come on, you know. I want to drink some beers on your show with you guys. I'm doing very good. Oh, yeah, we're just having a great day, chit-chatting here. Debates are fired up. Phil, be good content. I bring the content. I bring the fire. It's not debt. It's having community, and you are part of the community. Exactly. We're all part of the community here. Phil, do we have Payless hot take today? Anything bad and stupid up at the pizza shop yesterday? Not really. Not really. I don't really have a Skip Payless. My Skip Payless hot take, Duck, was my opening monologue bashing Emmanuel Acho for saying the Eagles are hiding something by only allowing Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 19 times. I think my Payless hot take was pretty much obvious at the early part. Okay? There's no core 12. We are, yeah, exactly. Core 12 is Eric K1. Phil should X out that Hurts should be MVP. It's offensive, silly, and not negative. Sirianni shouldn't change a thing about himself. Like I said, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. When he's head coach, absolutely agree. I agree. But I think there's more of a debate there than people realize because, I mean, you think about it. Since Andy Reid, no coach has lasted more than 5 years here. And we're in year 4 of Nick Sirianni. So I'm just playing it out there. The more Nick Sirianni wins, you know, the stronger his personal confidence is. That's what the big problem with Doug Peterson was. He grew a set of cojones and stood up to ownership and management. So I don't know. But in theory, Nick Sirianni should be here for a long time. In theory, I'd like to see them find a way to keep Kellen Moore alongside Nick Sirianni for a long period of time. Then invite disagree people to come on, chat, and debate on. I would love people to come on. I love more people to chat. That's why we get the subscribers up, the likes up, the shares up, and everybody finds the show. And we keep building something here. No more other networks. This is us. This is all us, people. What's more believable than aliens traveled millions of light years away to visit us or that an omnipresent God created us? Look, I'm not making this a serious conversation, okay? I was just bringing up a hilarious skit done by George Carlin, okay? Just saying. Nick Sirianni, grace under pressure leaves a lot to be desired. The winning percentage does not leave a lot to be desired, though. Carlin knows now he is roasting in hell. National media loves Sirianni when he does stupid clown crap because it gives them something to talk about and criticize the Eagles in the city over. Yeah, they never criticize it. Is Philadelphia the most criticized city unjustly in sports in America? Probably. Nick is getting the best out of his players, so he's a great coach for that. Any doubt of him and a fractured locker room from last year was shut down this year. I've never seen an Eagles locker room as closely knit and tight and together as the Eagles are right now. Like, they're all on the same page. They all are indeed. They're tight. And I'd rather a tight locker room. I'd rather a great leadership and wins than flashy stats. Like, think about it. Hassan Reddick gone. What's he up to? Like a half a sack on the year? All of a sudden, the locker room's back together. Maybe it was true. Maybe it was true. Hassan Reddick was the problem last year. The Payless hotline. Should I start a phone number? The Skip Payless Hot Take hotline? And y'all call the number and I play your voice recordings on the air? I don't know how to do all that. That's why I need like a producer that knows how to do all that stuff. Is Dallas Goedert out for the next 2 weeks? Dallas Goedert, 99.9% out is this week. 99.7% out next week. I think they're hoping to get him back in 3 weeks, which is why he's not going on IR. But we should know more in the next 24 hours or so on that. I heard one media reporter from Philadelphia say, and I forget which one it is, so don't quote me on this, that say they think he's going to be out for the year. They're just trying to maintain it this week and see if it gets better, and if not, then he'll be done for the season, Todd, which would be a big loss. I love how they exposed them on the Jalen hate. They should only name 2 or 3 quarterbacks over Jalen. Absolutely. Said it earlier in the show. It's Jalen Hurts, it's Josh Allen, it's Patrick Mahomes. They're the only 3 quarterbacks I would take. They're top 3 quarterbacks I would take, Eric, to win me a game today. It's a small club, and we're in it. The core 12 is a small club. That's right. But all are welcome to join the outer 12, okay? We got the core 12. Then we got the outer ring 12. And everybody's welcome in the outer 12, right? George Carlin is humor for educated and real individuals. I enjoy dumb humor. Like, dude, I love dumb humor. I love inappropriate humor. And I love educated humor. I love it. 2017 was tight. It was. It really was. But was it? Because Carson Wentz was not happy that he wasn't the quarterback that led us. So the fracture started at the end of 2017. It did. Call it like it is. Hurts has experienced a lot of growth in the last 4 weeks. Absolutely. And I watch literally every clip that Shane Haff and Jimmy Page put out there from the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network, which if you guys don't know, I do a short podcast on the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network every day. It's an under 10-minute podcast called the Eagles Checkdown. I don't show the audio anymore on YouTube, but guys, check out the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network. Great group of guys doing great content. But what they do the best is they do their film study and their film reviews. And I watch every single one of them. Baldhead Nick versus VCP Phil. I like that. One-on-one in a chess matchup. Jalen Hurts kissed and made up, and that's the difference. See, I don't know if they even needed to kiss and make up, so to speak. It's okay if two people at a given job don't like each other. Personally. As long as they all have the same vision as the end goal. And I think that that's what happened. The two of them talked to me like, yo, we're never going to be boys. You're not coming over for Thanksgiving dinner. There's a blast quote from the past. If you know, you know. That's a DSM Day quote. But I think they got on the same page that the ultimate goal is winning a Super Bowl. And that's all that matters. Nick was getting it at every single angle because his kids love Hurts, so he went home and, yeah, exactly. 274. We are just climbing today. Love it, Mitchie Poo. Love it. We get to 275 by the end of the show. Guys, if you're watching, you're just joining the chat. Hit that subscribe button, guys. My goal is 500 by the end of the year. We are now 226 from my goal. Boom. Can I get a 275? 275 going once, going twice. 276 over here. 277. Yeah, I'll never make an auctioneer. I don't know how to talk that fast. I talk loud, not fast. 17 was tight until Carson got hurt. Yeah, again. Damn it. Johnny Page. You know what I meant, K1. I get on a roll. Boo, 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 boo. I get on a roll. Things just happen. But I appreciate you always calling me out for my mistakes. So Liam has spotted that Hurts throwing style. I talked about that earlier in the show. That someone mentioned. That's where I heard that. I see you guys still watching Liam and his content over there. I check in the chat. I don't always comment. But I do watch. I do keep my eyes on the old crew over there. And I make sure my Core 12 is behaving in the chat on a regular basis. Just so you know. I watch a lot more other shows than I actually comment on. I should learn to comment more because then I get my name out there more. But, yes, I saw Liam. I saw a bit of Liam's show yesterday. Just so you know. Eagles Checkdown is great. Thank you very much, Anthony. Pinpull is great. Great group of guys at the Eagles Pinpull Podcast Network. Get out of my brain. Yeah, is that it? We're on the same wavelength today for sure, Eric. And I love it. It's Horrible Hancock. What? John Paul Jones. What? I think you and Phil are a forced diet. Is that it? I deleted like 3 comments because Phil's saying as I typed it. You can still type it. I want to see it. I need to see it. Type. Phil, do you still like Liam? I have no problem with Liam. I mean, we're not best buddies or, as he would say, mates. But, that was one chapter of my life. That's it. That chapter's over. This is the new chapter, okay? This ain't even a new chapter. This is a new novel, this part of my life. I got no beef with Liam. None at all. I made a thread on Blueski for the show. Hopefully we can get some more people checking out. I appreciate that. I'm not starting a new app. I'm not starting a new thing. I probably should, but I'm not. I don't need any more accounts to manage on a regular basis at this point. Don't advertise much. You want advertisements, so we'll advertise. Of course, I don't even know where it is. Lillian's Creations. This is where I get my merchandise that says Trending in the AM, STT Sports Network. If you guys want to support the show, great way to do that is to get a shirt, a hoodie, a T-shirt, a hat with one of our logos on it. You check out lillianscreations.com. They have a contact section. You send an email to them and ask for a Trending in the AM or STT Sports Network hoodie or shirt, and she'll get it made up for you and sent out. She's got my logos on file. You'll support me, but you'll also support another great local business, and her quality is phenomenal. My long sleeve T-shirts were $20. My T-shirts were $15. So you can't beat it, guys. lillianscreations.com. Get the STT Sports Network logos, guys. I missed the chat 12. Yeah. Actually, I came to trending from PSN and say, there you go. So you're not even an original. You know, some of these guys are OGs in the chat. Birds are better at defending the double post routes in the red zone or near it, but they are still vulnerable there. Okay. Detailed. That's a nice hoodie. Yeah, this, like my Eagles hoodie. Thank you. I started Apple Plus, some good shows. I could get replays of this show on there. I choose not to for two reasons. One, this show is meant to be live, not replayed. And two, to download and then re-upload on all the other channels, online channels. Oh, you're talking about Apple Plus. I thought you meant Apple iTunes. I'm not paying for that. Those ad reads, I'm always on fire with that stuff. I read the headline here, and you got me. I'm tired of people acting like Hurts can't play. Well, unfortunately, you're coming in at the last 5 minutes of the show. But hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and catch the replay. We do this Monday through Friday, 90 minutes, 5 days a week, every single day, my man. And you're going to get some negative Jalen Hurts comments in this show. But I'm going to tell you. Why? Why would we stop doing what's making us win just to appease people? Because they don't see flashy enough stuff. It's all about the flash. And we talked about it earlier in the show, Darker, that it's the result of the fantasy football world. They want flash. And somebody earlier in the show put up most pass attempts this year in the NFL are all losing teams. The lowest pass attempts, a lot of winning teams are in the bottom of pass attempts. Winning football is from running the football nowadays. Winning football is from playing smash mouth defense. Winning football is all that matters. I don't care about stats. I hate stats. Like pop up. Yeah, dude, this chat is blowing up today, and I love it. The subscriber count is going up today, and I love it. I heard that the UK has terrible restaurants and that their pubs are awesome. Phil should open a cheesesteak restaurant in London and show them how it's done. Yeah, I'm not going to London. Not anytime soon. For those who don't know, Phil and Liam was early on in Phil's career when he was in EC. Oh, Liam was my Paul Heyman. Is that what it is? Now I'm the W. Okay, gotcha. So Liam was my Paul Heyman. Big Al was my Eric Bischoff. And I'm Vince McMahon. Well, I don't want to be Vince McMahon. No, Vince McMahon's a scumbag. Gotcha. I understood. Dude, almost 9 subscribers, or almost 10 subscribers. We've gained 9 subscribers this show. This might be the biggest growth show we've had, a single live show we've had in ages. And I appreciate each and every one of you as we get close to the end here, guys. This has been a fantastic show. Fantastic for my, mental state show. We'll get to X's and O's tomorrow, more specifically Eagles and Panthers, plus whatever. We didn't cover 90% of the Sixers stuff. I did want to talk a little Sixers today. We didn't get to it. Didn't get to talk about something very controversial I wanted to talk about, LPGA Tour. Maybe we'll get into that tomorrow. Maybe I'll do the LPGA Tour thing separate. Phil has the Brett Scallions, lead singer of Fuel, gravel in his voice. Yeah, do I by the end of shows, I get my voice does get a little gravelly. Fuel. Saw them at a Y100 festival once. Darker Reed, my Hertz pushback. Educate yourself. What? There's one on Passyunk Avenue in London. Yeah, I thought there was. Never been to London. Never been anywhere in the UK. Even Trinidad, no. And he a giant. Trinidad hasn't been around lately because the Eagles have been too good. Top teams are running the football. Absolutely. I don't need to educate myself, Mad Chatter. I watch them every week. Yep, exactly. No education necessary. The CEO of Fortune 500 insurance company. Yes, I saw that. That was extremely crazy. Seeing that video, get released. Who's botting the subs? I don't know. It must be bots, right? It might be. It might be. Wow, this has been a thriving Thursday. That's what we're calling it. I'm writing that down. Thriving Thursday. That's a Twitter post later today on that one, K1. I don't know if you're on Twitter, so I can't give you credit for that one. You can't win friends with golf. Well, it's just a very controversial thing that the LPGA didn't do, I guess is the way to say it, yesterday. And I'm so glad that they did do what they did yesterday. Paul George not playing last night as weak as, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We on the road to 10K. Oh, I'm just trying to get to 500, Eric. 10K is another whole subject. And we didn't even get the world. We didn't get the world chess. Still waiting on that. Next stop, 369. That's right. That's right. Sorry, it's called Passyunk Avenue. It's in London. Yep. I've seen videos of that. The sub rally show. Yeah, that's right. I like that, actually. That's right. That's right. It's elite. Hurts still top skill is game control of the no huddle. You know, I saw somebody say this, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget because we're at the end. I love up-tempo no-huddle offense, especially when an offense is struggling. The offense struggles in the first quarter regularly. Maybe the Eagles should consider going no-huddle to start football games, 100%. Just come right out of the gate, no-huddle. Get them in a rhythm. Just something to think about for tomorrow's show. Chatter, Hurts is a winner, period, end of story. He's better record. I think maybe there might be some misunderstanding. Mad Chatter, don't doubt it. The only person he likes more than Jalen Hurts is Josh Allen because he's a Buffalo Bills fan, and he lives up in the Buffalo region. So, I think you might be misunderstanding some of his weird and out of left field comments. His comments don't always make sense. He's an acquired taste. You got to learn and read between the lines with what he has to say on a regular basis, because that's a nice take. Philly is a little London. Yes. Don't get Chip Kelly, Phil. It might work. I'm just thinking. I think Greg Cassell talked about Jalen thriving in the no huddle up tempo. I love it. We'll kick off tomorrow. We're already into overtime. I got to get to work. I got a lot of shit to do at work today on top of this show. So what we'll do is we'll save the no huddle up tempo conversation to kick off tomorrow's show, guys. So one more time, thank you all very much for watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, I ask you, hit that like button and subscribe button. For everyone that's already done that, please hit the share button. The more that join, the merrier. The more that join, the more likely we are to get more content in the future. So, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. With that being said, though, guys, it's time for me to call it a day. It's time to wrap it up. It's time to say goodbye to all my family. MICKEY MOUSC. Yeah. Subs equal pizza. I said if we have 500 subs by the end of the year, I will host a pizza party for everybody at Fox's Pizza, guys. So with that being said, got to end the show today. So as always, guys, let's go Birds and Bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.